Hi, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the books that I read during the month of March. So during the month of March, I only read 6 books, which to me still doesn't feel bad. Around this time last year, I only read like 2 or 3 books a month, which made me super sad and depressed. But 6 books is still pretty good, and I did really enjoy a lot of what I read actually. So let's just get started. We'll talk about these books in the order of which I read them. Nothing fancy. The first book that I did read this month was A Witch's Guide to Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna. I absolutely love this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. This is definitely a book that I'm gonna want physically on my shelves. I borrowed this one from the library actually. I think I borrowed both of these books from my library, this one and the first book that she had written. This book was so adorable and cute, and I thought I really liked Secret Society of Irregular Witches, that first book. I love this one. I think I have to bump down Irregular Witches, and so this rating makes more sense to me. In this book, we follow our main character, Sarah, who's only ever really been close to, I want to say it's her aunt. Yes, her aunt. And they both run an inn together. And this inn is very special, super quaint. There's a little bit of like magic within this inn, but her aunt passes away like super suddenly, like a brain aneurysm or something crazy like that. And our main character, who was raised with kind of a chip on her shoulder, like she's been told her whole life that she is super powerful. When she gets older, she's going to be the most powerful witch in England, and she brings her aunt back from the dead, and it's great because her aunt is back, but it does take away a lot of her magic. It's almost like a sacrifice, and she doesn't really ever get that magic back. So this idea of who she was going to be when she grew up is kind of gone in an instant. She does have her aunt back, which she's grateful for, but this kind of changes her entire life, her entire personality. It is a cozy fantasy, so it's more focused on like building family and connections and, you know, friendly, you know, it's cozy. I really enjoyed this. I think what I really liked was kind of the messaging and this kind of character journey our main character went through. Sarah cannot obviously let go of the magic that she had when she was younger. The things that she could do so easily, almost as easily as breathing, came so naturally to her, and she can't do that anymore. She can barely like clean the inn that she runs now, and that is a struggle for her. So letting go of your youth, your childhood, the person that you once were, I think is a big theme of this book, and kind of accepting who you are now and what your new future looks like. It might not be the same one that you had envisioned for yourself, but it is yours. And I thought this was so beautiful. There were so many moments, so many metaphors that I just absolutely loved. I want a physical book of this so I can reread it and annotate it. I really enjoyed this. The journey that the character went through spoke to me and in my personal life so much. There's a little bit of a romance here, which is to be expected. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cute. It was fine. We also have a side character who is autistic. I'm not well versed on like what is good or what is not good autistic representation, but I thought the way that all the other characters treated this child was fairly well done. It did kind of end on like a really happy, like everything worked out perfectly type ending, which it's a cozy fantasy, so I don't expect anything less. I really enjoyed this. I give this 4.5 stars. Depending on how I feel going forward, it could be a 5-star. If I reread it before the end of the year, I probably bump it up to 5 stars, to be honest. I had such a good time, and I really want, I think it was either Owl Crate or Fairy Loot that did special editions of this book. I want them bad. After that, I did read A Dangerous Collaboration by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 4th book in the Veronica Speedwell mystery series. I love this series so much. The last book in this series, I feel like I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Didn't love this one as much, but I did like the setting. I do wish that the mystery kind of went forward a little bit more. If you're unfamiliar, we follow our main character, Veronica, who is a lepidopterist. She studies butterflies, and her partner, Stoker, who she has kind of like a romantic vibe with. They kind of are trying to build up this museum together with like a very wealthy patron like financially supporting them. But Stoker's brother comes up to Veronica and is like, hey, I need you to come with me to this island for reasons, and there's going to be a mystery. There's a lot of drama that goes on between Veronica and Stoker in this one, and normally I would like that, but for some reason it didn't sit well with me. There was growth in the relationship, but not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a bit more bantering back and forth. We got a little bit, but I'm mostly in this for the romance. The mystery is like fine. That doesn't mean that I don't want the mystery to be good. The mystery in this one was kind of like lackluster, and it only really like kicked off halfway through the book. It didn't really quite feel like a mystery for a good chunk of this, but it's fine. I still give it 4 stars. I don't think I could ever like dislike a Veronica Speedwell series, a book in the series. After that, I read The Seventh Veil of Salome by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This is a historical fiction that takes place during like the House Un-American Activities like committee era in Hollywood. In this book, we follow the production of a film that the lead role is really like sought after. It's going to be one of those big glitzy like Cleopatra-esque productions, and the director cast a kind of unknown Mexican actress to play the lead. No one really knows who she is. The fact that she's also Mexican and not like a white woman, very shocking. And so we follow this actress on her journey, and then we also follow the perspective of a white actress in Hollywood who really felt like she was owed this lead role, and the kind of like downwards character progression that she goes through because she feels like she was owed this role. And then we also follow the perspective of Salome, who is the character that is about what this film is about. Salome is the character that asks for John the Baptist's head like on a platter. Like that's who the film is based off of, and it's gonna be this big production. This story follows these 3 women in the ways that they have power and in the ways that they don't have power, and it's very sad. And then there's also moments where I really grew, well, not all of them. That white actress, she is a piece of work, and she constantly says like slurs against like Mexicans. I'm Mexican American, so I was like, ugh, this bitch. But I do really enjoy seeing these characters' journeys. I really enjoyed the Salome perspective and our main character's perspective. Her name is Vera or Vera. I liked her perspective. She was such a sweet girl. I just, seeing the ways that women can wield power but also not have it fully is just so heartbreaking to me. I love stories about women. I gave this one 4 stars. It didn't really affect me as much as other Silvia Moreno-Garcia books have, but there is something about this author's writing that I just love. Something that just grabs me and I like never want to let go. When I pick up one of her books, I kind of just like fly through the pages, and I can't really explain why. Her writing is not super flowery, it's not super dense, it feels super straightforward. I'm just so attracted to this author's writing. I don't know why, someone please tell me, but I gave this 4 stars. So yeah. After that, I did finally get a nonfiction in, and that was Blitzed, Drugs in the Third Reich by Norman Ohler, translated by, I think it's Sean Whiteside. Yes, I've been meaning to read this book forever. Finally got it done. I'm gonna put it down because I think it ruins the coloring. Like the film is, the video is trying to like adjust to this giant highlighter of a book, so I'm gonna put it down. This book is about the rampant use of drugs, specifically a designer methamphetamine in Germany during World War II. This drug I think was called Providin, and it was like mass produced. Everyone was using it, everyone from like housewives to soldiers on the battlefield to like generals or whatever the equivalent was for the Nazis to Hitler. Hitler used a little bit of Providin, but there's an entire chapter dedicated to like all the drugs that this man maybe took, and he took some hard drugs. I am surprised that he did not drop sooner. I obviously know about World War II. I think most of us do. This is a really interesting perspective that I never really heard about. Like I had heard mentions of like drug use and stuff, but framing World War II through this like drugged infused lens was really interesting. It's a different way to consume something that you're probably already super familiar with, and if you studied it as much as I did growing up in grade school and eventually like university, you kind of know the major parts. Obviously you can't know everything. I really appreciated that this was more focused on Germany, beliefs, things like that. A lot of World War II buffs are really focused on the warfare and stuff, which is important. That's how wars get played out, is not unimportant, but this is obviously more focused on other elements. It's not like dude broified World War II history, if that kind of makes sense. If you know what I mean, you know. It's actually a very short book. A lot of this is notes towards the end. First chapter really focuses on Germany and how much they use this one drug. Second chapter really focuses on like the average like Nazi soldier and how much they use these drugs. Third chapter was about, I want to say specifically Hitler, and I think the last chapter was kind of wrapping up everything. that went down towards the end. There was definitely like moments that were like crazy. Like this was crazy, the amount of drugs that these people were on. I would recommend it if you want something historical nonfiction but still really entertaining. That's kind of where I struggled for a long time when it comes to nonfiction, like keeping my attention and wanting to learn about certain subjects but don't know which book is the right book to turn to dedicate your time to. I do think this one's good if you're like in the mood for World War II, which I'm usually not, but this is like a good place. It's very entertaining. I don't know how to rate nonfiction books quite yet, but I would say based off of like my feelings, not on like research and what this book might be missing and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna go with 4 stars. Take my review with a grain of salt. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I did get to 1 graphic novel this month, and that was Lilith by Corin Howell. This was a really fun first volume to a series. I kind of picked this up on a whim. I was just in the mood to read a graphic novel. I have a Kobo now, so it's like really easy to like flip through. This is a kind of like dark horror comedy where we follow Lilith, who is a demon kind of succubus type character from a different dimension. She's been kicked out of her home world. She lives on Earth now, and she really wants to go back, but she does have a bounty on her. Our main character really wants to go home, and she does find this like old tome in a bookstore owned by a very like geeky, nerdy, but very brave bookstore owner, and she's really excited. So she befriends this bookstore owner, and she's gonna want to use this book to go back home. But like I said, she does have a bounty on her, and so monsters kind of appear and attack them. Our bookstore owner is like super brave despite the fact that she's just like a little human and she doesn't know what's going on, but she just wants to help protect Lilith. There's gonna probably be a little bit of a sapphic romance between them. I'm so excited. This is only the first volume, so I gave it 3.5 stars. There's not a lot of depth to this one. It's just the introduction, so we got like bits of little things, so I'm hoping we get more character work, more story work in the next volume. But I had a lot of fun. The artwork is stunning. Lilith is a like model, but for like a more risque model, so the artwork is super beautiful to look at. I am really excited to continue on with this one and kind of be like actively reading some more graphic novels. I used to read a lot of like DC comics when I was in college. I haven't in a while. I haven't read like a lot of graphic novel manga type stuff in quite some time, so I'm happy that I picked this one up just for the experience, but this was also like fun and entertaining. And the last book that I read in the month of March was The Poet Empress by Shen. I will have a vlog coming out soon. It's not up quite yet, but it's going to be a new releases vlog where I talk about this one. This book has been really hyped up for quite some time since it's come out, honestly, even before with like arcs and stuff. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and it did take a while for me to get to that rating. It was kind of an up and down trajectory with my feelings with this book. This book follows our main character Wei, who is very poor. The book opens up with her and her family having to bury another sibling who's passed away from malnutrition. So a lot of sad stuff that happens here. Please check your trigger warnings, especially when it comes to domestic violence and intimate partner violence. But our main character wants to try to become a concubine for the prince or the emperor in waiting, and this man has a very bad reputation. Torture, war crimes, like the worst ever. But she feels that the possible benefits of becoming a concubine outweigh the risks. She is willing to take this risk, and I really appreciated seeing a lot of the character work in this book. That's what I really enjoyed the most, the character work. I didn't really enjoy the majority of this experience because I just felt that the story was just happening to our main character and she was just going through it for a while, and it only really got good for me 100 pages from the ending. I'm happy that I did end up really enjoying this towards the end and giving it 4 stars, but like I said, the last 100 pages was the part of the book that was the most worth it. Having to read that much for it to get good, that's not great. Our main character did go on a bit of a journey with her own character. She knows that she is not the same woman that she was when she first entered the palace. She was a very kind person. She never wanted her to fly, but it's really hard playing this game with all this political intrigue, concubine versus concubine drama. It's hard to do that without hurting other people. And I'm trying not to be spoilery, but Wei at some point does get a little bit of power with her position here in this book, and she likes the way that she feels with power, and that scares her. The villain of the story, Taran, the prince, he is horrible. If you are worried that there's going to be this big redemption arc and that he's secretly a person with a really good heart, no, he's a horrible villain, I did really appreciate the villain like origin story that he had, so I could really understand where this character is coming from. If not, he would have been like super cartoonishly evil, just like evil for evil's sake, and that doesn't really feel good in a book where we are trying to get the nuances of power, of evil, of, you know, who people are. I did end up having a ton of thoughts and things to say about this, so whenever that vlog goes up, feel free to go check it out, because I do talk about this one quite a bit, and all my problems with it. And that, I believe, is everything that I read. I did quickly kind of go through them. It wasn't a lot of books, and I am going to go away on a trip soon, so I wanted to get this over and done with as soon as possible, so there's something on this channel. I have been kind of slacking on making videos, but that's on me. So I really wanted to get this filmed and out there as soon as possible. Feel free to talk to me down below in the comments about anything that I've talked about. What did you read in March? Have you read any of these books, like them or dislike them? I'd like to hear anything you have to say in the comments down below. I will also link my social medias down below, as well as some far more important links. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, or subscribe, or do neither. It's all cool with me. If you don't know what to say, you can leave an emoji. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.